didn't have my phone. It's my phone. I don't know where my phone is.
I
Do I
really
have a
like you
phone?
guys.
Huh? Yeah.
I really like you guys. You guys are really cool.
Thank you. We're live. Hang on.
Oh, we are? Okay. Hi, everybody.
I don't. I don't know where my phone is.
uh,
Uh, if you don't mind, yeah. She's
go do
all
what
right.
you
So
need to do.
no.
But if you want to if you want me to, I'd like to post it on my page so
Okay.
people can
I'm
join me.
about. Yeah, I'm about to give it to you right now. Hang on.
Okay.
I'm about to. I'm about to. Okay.
Hi,
Here it is.
everybody.
Okay. Here it is. Hang on.
Okay.
So thank you.
Hi,
So
Morgan.
Tamara says hi, Morgan. She says hi. I don't know if you can hear her. Okay, so I have the URL. Hang on. Copy.
And
So
you're
I'll
going to
just
put it in your Facebook?
it's already on the page, but I'm going to make it easier on you. So I'm just going to send it to you. What the hell is going on here? Hello, everybody. We'll be right with you. Okay, so I'm going to send it to you in Messenger. So you can
Okay.
just.
Okay. Yeah, because I posted I'd be on live today, so I want people to be able to join in.
There you go. See, it has a picture of me and you. So you
yeah.
you can you can just you can copy and paste that where you want. So I'm going to do the same thing since we're. What is that? I'm a little bit out of it. I have to admit.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. My computer says 1:11 New York time. Yeah, I'm okay.
Cool.
I'm just a little bit. I woke up this morning and what's today? Wednesday. So we're leaving Saturday. We got to go to Honolulu, and then Sunday she flies out. So.
Where's she going?
She's going to South Australia. She's having a grandbaby, her first grandbaby.
Oh,
So
grandbabies are the best.
Right. Do you have some?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a 8-year-old granddaughter that I'm very close to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have her for like a month during the summer, and I have her for Christmas vacation.
Very cool. Do you guys do like white witchcraft together?
No, I wouldn't call it witchcraft, but I teach her about unicorns. Yeah. How to talk to her angels. Don't have anybody tell you that that's not real, and she has unicorns actually show up in her room.
I don't doubt that at all.
No, I don't doubt it either. Okay, this isn't there we are. Okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
You see it? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me turn this on.
She talks to unicorns. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool that times have changed now. Hello, Jessica Woods. I like her stuff.
I'm just posting this everywhere while we're getting set up.
Raquel
I'll put it on my fan page too.
Yeah. Carl Streiner, Michael Fox, Premi Hogo, Monica Peterson, Trish Riley, Michael Kilmer, Sonia Sandoval.
There we go.
Yeah. So So I woke up this morning. I'm a little bit. I think I'm a little burned out. I'm not burned out. I need a break.
Yeah. No, I understand. You work really hard. What do you do? Like 3 interviews a day?
I think we average. Yeah, probably 3 to 4. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think she's got something like 80 already scheduled for March. So
wow.
Yeah, 70. Yeah, 70. By the time it's over, it'll be 80. But yeah, we got to do what we got to do, right? Got to keep on trucking, man.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah. So she loaded up March and starting on April, she'll be back 1st of June. But at least we got a place. We're stable, and we got great internet, and it's kind of cool. We actually got like our first house. It was like our first place.
You got a what?
It was like our first place together.
Aw, how long have you guys been together?
We've been really together since the first time we talked, which was September 3rd, 2015. And but then she came for the first time. She came April, I believe it was April 22nd of 2017. and she stayed for 10 weeks. Oh my God, that was a trip. Talk about witches and lions and tigers and bears and freak storms, and oh my God, it was freaking insane. Galactic memories. I mean, oh my God. And then she came back May 22nd of 2018. And then that was 12 weeks. And then this time's 12 weeks. But then she'll be back in like 90 days, and then we'll get the visa stuff worked out and all that. So,
Aw, how sweet.
yeah. And then we start working on mine. Yeah. You know what, man? I mean, there's no linear timeline pressure. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm in
actually,
England now. I don't know how long I'll be here.
yeah, that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
And in the next 90 days, I know we're gonna Michael Van Patten and I and some others are who, you know, we're gonna launch this thing. You know, we're gonna launch this thing, and it's time. Yeah, the
Yeah.
support's been incredible lately. The support's just been through the roof. I mean, it's like,
Good.
you know, people don't realize $4, $3, $11. I mean, enough people do it, and it's really made, you know, that's really helped us. So
Good.
So the next thing is to because whenever we start streaming from our own site, it's a variable cost. So it's like based on talk about ballsy. So it's based on it's based on the time viewed. So the more people that view, the more it costs, right?
Right.
But the more people that view, the more abundance it should come. You know what I mean? Because everything's based on traffic on the internet. So we're excited because we feel like that it'll help introduce 5D commerce and you know, create a community eventually, you know, with profiles and all that stuff. And yeah, so I'm really in a weird mood today. Like,
Are you?
I think it's just, yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of somber. But we're actually going to go hook up with what, 1, 2, 3 different friends on the island. Wow, we've never done that.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, this lady from New Jersey that was on yesterday, Jennifer Victoria Bell or Ball. Oh my God, she's incredible. She's very similar to you, just incredible. She's been here since about a year, and then we're going to hook up with Amira Beth, who's been here 6 years, a mermaid that lives down by the ocean.
I have a mermaid friend here.
Amira's a mermaid. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, we came over here, and I was doing a show with her, and I said, "Hey, we found this place, you know," and she's like, "Wait a minute, I live there," and I'm like, "What?" And then she's like, "You see all the wall behind you? I painted it." So she actually lived here for 4 months and painted this place, and we ended up here. Let's talk about synchronicity. Yeah,
that's so funny.
Mm-hmm. And that's when what was it that came out? Morgan got the 13th chakra, the soul chakra. She was channeling next to me in the truck. We were just sitting at the park, and she just starts going. And then the next morning, Amira had written a post on the same thing. I forget all the details.
That's so funny. I do a activation called the Fruit of Life, and it activates your 13 chakras and lines them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need to re-record it. So I've got one coming up in a couple weeks. It's funny how we all get the same information, isn't it?
I think it's really starting to it's almost like a seamless thing, you know, like you just go from one thing to another. I know for me, doing the shows, you know, 3, 4 a day, it's like, oh my God, of course, when Morgan and I are together, everything is like amplified. So everything is just like, you know, in your face, fast pace. And then you get the hang of it and you start moving, boom, boom, boom. But what happens is the shows always correlate with what's happening. So, you know, I can't think of an example right now because my head's too unclear, but it's just like whatever I'm dealing with or whatever I'm experiencing, somebody comes on and that's what we start talking about. It's
Uh-huh.
crazy. Yeah.
That's what
crazy.
happens in my private sessions. If there's anything I need to work on or know, I attract the clients that need that help, you know?
Yes,
and it's like,
right.
wow, this is so amazing because it's exactly what I needed to work on.
Yeah. It works both ways. You know,
Yeah.
it really works both ways.
Absolutely.
So like I guess in a way, even though it's not you know, stereotypical, this would be my session, right? So my session is more of a not like a typical healer, I guess, you know. But what I was going to say is, and I know this is what you're saying, is that so what happens is it not only does it take a shift load of energy out of me, depending on who I'm talking to and what's going on and how many different multidimensional aspects are in my ear while I'm doing this show, right?
Right.
But it also elevates and expands me, right? Like, so
Oh, yeah.
I'll come out of it and I won't even know. I'll be like so lit up. And if I do 3 or 4 in a day, like the last couple of days have been incredible. I'm like going from one incredible thing to another incredible thing to another incredible thing. And that in itself, just talking to an expanding divine soul is expanding.
Uh-huh.
You know? Yeah.
It is.
So it's the same thing you're saying, you know, like it works both ways.
Yeah. And when you expand, everybody around you starts expanding.
Yeah. We're expanders.
We are. we are creators.
That's right. So yeah, man. So yeah, this is cool. Just rapping like this. So you're over there. You don't know how long you're going to be there. Everybody, she's in Glastonbury. Is it Glastonbury?
Glastonbury, England.
It's with the L, right?
Yeah.
GL. Yeah, because I always get it mixed up. So Glastonbury, and what are you doing over there?
It's so magical here. Well, I'm working, you know, while I'm here. So I work online, you know, so I do webinars and trainings and I hang out. Today I was in the Abbey walking around. The Abbey in Glastonbury is just absolutely magical.
Yeah.
It's just really is. I mean, Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the world. And so is Stonehenge and Avebury. It's all on that line. It all lines up. And I'm going to Avebury on Sunday, and I'm super excited about that. I haven't been there in a year and a half. And the energy there, it's called Ave. Yeah, Avebury. It looks like Avebury. It's AVE, and then BURY.
Okay. Yeah.
And that is this huge stone circle. I mean, and the stones are 30 feet high. I mean, easy. And it's a huge stone circle, and there's a road that actually goes through it. And the stones are actually on 4 different pieces of property, or it's open, you know, for everybody to go into. And most of the time there's sheep walking around. So you go through a gate and you're walking by sheep. And you have to watch where you walk and stuff. But
that sounds like walking out. That sounds like walking around in the real world.
Yeah,
bump into
exactly.
I'm kidding.
Exactly.
I
mean, really,
it's bad joke.
It's amazing. And when I went to Stratton Drew a couple of days ago, that's another stone circle pretty close to here, and they have heifers walking around. They hadn't let them out yet in the yard. Yeah, little cows. So when you're walking around in Stratton Drew, you're walking by cows. And last time I was there and the cows were out, I called them over and they came over to me. And this one actually got its head.
He got what?
I was able to pet it. And it had this beautiful heart on its forehead. It was just, and the energy in these places are just absolutely amazing. Some people can't handle staying here because it brings up their stuff.
That's what people said to me about Sedona and Kauai. Hey, and I believe some places do that for sure. Valerie Peterman. Hi, Valerie. She says, hello, Todd. I have been following Tamra since she lived in St. Augustine, Florida. I lived in St. Augustine, Florida.
Did you really?
Yeah. When did you live there?
2014 and 15. I left in 15.
this was pre waking up. I was there like in 2007, 08. Venice Beach. They have that little Venice Beach, but that's a powerful place, St. Augustine. That's a very
I was on the beach. I was 3 houses from the beach.
Yeah, I was
there.
about 3 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for like a year and a half. My oldest son lives there, and he's a chef in one of the restaurants there. And then my grandson lives there.
Yeah, that's the oldest settlement that's older than Plymouth Rock. That's the oldest settlement in the country.
Yeah, in the United States.
So, Miguel Dean says cows and sheep. Yeah, my kind of crowd. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, I love this area here. It's so beautiful. And we've been so lucky with the weather the last few days. It's been amazing.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of work there? You're having expansions when let's talk about that. So you have expansion when you do sessions with people.
Yes, right? Absolutely. And webinars and trainings. I get a lot of information when I'm working with people because I'm in that flow, Mm-hmm. So it's really amazing and life-changing for myself. I mean,
so you get personal, you get personal downloads, basically.
Right? Oh yeah. I've had over like 300 downloads. I mean, and I just keep expanding. A lot of them are deactivations too, where they've changed a lot of programs for me. Mm-hmm. In your subconscious belief systems. You know how we have all those erroneous beliefs of things that family beliefs and just prosperity
gender related beliefs. I just went through a bunch of those. Man. I went through this. I think we've all been going through, but in particular, is everything like sped up? What's today? 2/27. So through mid-January. I know, man. Like since like 1st of January, then through like the middle of this month, like, I mean, everything got stripped away. Well, again, at a deeper level. And then something happened, man. I thought I'd stepped into my masculine power 2 or 3 times, but man, this past month, it was like, oh man, daddy's home. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, I'm owning it. I'm not even going to be bashful about it, but it also comes for you. Yeah, but the thing is, it comes with this heavy dose of humility. Like Morgan always says, if you know it, why do you got to say it? I'm like, okay, I don't got to say it. And so like, this is even deeper than that. It's like, you just walk around like a god, you're just like, whoa, and everything is like speaking to you, every the wind and the birds and the dogs and the freaking roosters over here. Oh yeah. Cockadoodle do you to death, but I mean, it's crazy. It's just like we go and we have, and then, most of the time we're experiencing stuff together. So we go here, there's a rainbow. We go there, there's a double rainbow. We go here, there's a whale's tail sticking out of the water there. And it's just like one thing after another, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, Hawaii's absolutely gorgeous. I love Hawaii.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll end up over there.
I think we're going to be, I think I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of movement. I mean, I feel like I'm talking about for everybody, doing the work. Uh-oh. Your signal. I know it's not mine. Come back, Sheba. It's your signal. I'll wait on you. Well, all the time in the world. Yeah. I'm looking at the replay you froze. You might want to go out and come back in. This is a different kind of show today. We're just kind of mellow, just chit-chatting. Carl Streeter says, my dad lives in Avsbury near Stonehenge and the naked figure on the field. I guess that's some kind of statue. Jania Gazda is in Vienna. I didn't know you were in Vienna. All right. Very cool. And thank you, everybody, for your continued love, support, and contributions, because this is how we are able to do what we're doing. We're 100% viewer supported. So thank you all. Yeah. So what were you talking about?
I don't know, but I can change topics.
I know we're just having this mellow conversation. It's actually kind of cool. I'm digging it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, we were talking about moving around. Yeah. So like I'm saying that I'm like people like you, like me, Morgan. For the first time, Soulogy actually has some roots. Who go figure it would be here because it's not exactly financially feasible, but we ended up as we're all being blessed, because I look around at my friends and colleagues and the same thing's happening to them. And they find themselves in these places that defy logic. So, I mean, we're in a space now, thank God, that we can be long term, and it's would be the same cost, and it'd be less than New York or Chicago, or probably be like
well,
Dallas, be less than LA, and we've got space, and
yeah.
we've got a view of the ocean, view of the mountains. So
Wow.
but my thought is that um, you know we'll be moving around the world, doing whatever we're supposed to do, but it's nice to have a base. For me it is,
Yeah.
because I haven't really had one, and I'm tired of living out of a suitcase, man.
See,
Cannot
that's
do
what
it.
I'm doing now. As
Yeah,
of
right.
August, I sold everything and left with a suitcase. And I
Yeah.
spent 3 months in Mexico, and then I went back to LA, California for about 6 weeks, and then came over here to England. And I'm not sure how I'll be here, how long I'll be here, or when I'll have a base again. My son has my two cats for me.
Oh
And
yeah.
so for that reason, I want a base because I want my cats. But I don't really know where I'm going to be. I really don't. I mean, I've been seriously for the last 7 years, I've been traveling. I'm gone for 6 to 8 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And since I work online, and I'm able to help people this way, God says, go here. I go, okay, go here. Okay. I find myself at temples in Mexico,
Yeah.
working on the ley lines and activating the energies within the temples and bringing all of that stuff together. And then
Yeah.
here I am and go to England. Okay.
I,
But
go ahead.
maybe in a month I'll be going, who knows where? I don't
You
know.
could
I have
be.
invites to Thailand and to India and to Egypt. And right now I don't feel like going to any of those places. And I really feel like just really being grounded here in Glastonbury, and
Yeah.
really enjoying the space here.
You might, man, you got a heck of a deal there too. You might just be sticking around. You never know.
Yeah, as long as I can.
Hey, I was going to ask you a few things now that I remember. My producer reminded me. So, yeah, I wanted to ask, this is something I want to ask your opinion on, right? Uh,
Okay.
but first, let me ask you, did you go through any big shifts around the 21st, you know,
Of last month?
of this month? Was there
Oh,
anything? Did, yeah,
what's the
right.
date?
I don't, hey, I do the same thing, man. I'll be like, what month is it? But
I'm constantly shifting.
yeah, yeah,
With the full moon, I don't know if it was any different than any other time for me.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm always shifting. It doesn't
Right.
seem to matter if it's a full moon or a new moon
Yeah.
for me.
I was just curious because there was a lot of people talking about it, and right there was the Schumann. There was a lot of Schumann movement. There is today, the last 2 days too. I was looking at a post that today and tomorrow they're going to be like, it's going to be like off the chart. And I think it was yesterday, the day before was at 76. But anyway, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I
Yeah.
can barely, yeah. But I was going to ask you. So I was going to ask you your opinion on this. I asked a couple of people, right? So about 4 nights ago, we had it is typical, but we had a higher dimensional experience, but we also had some stuff happen at ground zero here, right? So I wanted to ask you a couple of things. So, and just to give you a backdrop, so every night when we lay down, we clasp hands, and we always have, and then we do our thing, right? But this night was a little bit different. So this night there was I guess, like a council, but it was a council of our higher aspects, angelic, galactic, I mean, essences. And they said, step out of your body. Your light body's inside your physical body. Step forward, just a foot out. This is the first time that you come to these meetings together all the time, every night. But this is the first time in almost 60 years which you'll be conscious. You'll be consciously here.
Oh, nice.
Which is what happened. Now, so that's another story in itself, but I just wanted to lay that backdrop, right? So you have this, we had this, which we're not unique, I mean, you know that. So we had this dimensional experience, right? This dimensional experience at this higher vibrational level, which had some incredible intel, just incredible. But so that's kind of, I look at that I hate to use the word level, but I look at that as a certain dimensional level, right?
Yeah.
So then, but then like the next night, or I think prior to that night, prior in the evening, we go for a walk. So we're going for a walk. I'm already seeing stuff. I was already seeing stuff on the previous walk. I'm like, oh, and I'm not really saying how, like, oh my God, they're full over here in the brush. I can see them. I see a spaceship, and I'm like, okay, all right. You know how it is. You're like, did I see that? Am I, do I need to say anything? So we're coming back and we turn the corner. Now, we did not disclose this to each other till the next day. I see this short gray ET standing right there.
Yeah.
Come to find out, the next day we're talking. She's like, "Oh, I saw a short gray ET right there," and I'm like, "Yeah, I did too." Which is rule number one we learned was whatever we go through from here out, let's disclose it to the other person, because we've all been there where we keep it in our head thinking, "Did I really see that? Did I really see that?"
Yeah.
But she saw the spaceship. She saw the same short gray ET that I did at the same place, right? So my thing is that I'm looking at this, and I told her, I said, okay, I see these as two different, and I know everything's one, right? But I mean, I see this as two different things. I see the short gray who they seem to be stepping closer and closer and closer to us. And we've heard, we're preparing you for contact.
Yeah.
The council told us you've raised your frequency.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. But I'm asking you what your opinion is, or what your perspective is. So to me, the gray ET crew seems to be more in the physicality. Like, I understand that they're higher dimensional or not able to be seen up to this point, but they seem to be more part of this movie, where the other one seems to be at the higher self and higher range.
Right.
Do you have anything on that?
Yeah, it's two parts on that. One is your frequency has raised so much that you're able to see them. And somebody standing right next to you that isn't evolved like you are, they wouldn't see them. They would think you were seeing things, but you can see them. And a lot of them are here, and they're here to support us. They're not here to do our job for us. It's our world, and it is the veil. We're in 5D. People keep saying we're going into 5D. No, we're in 5D. That veil is lifted, and what's happening is our emotions and our belief systems and our subconscious beliefs are coming out and shifting throughout the whole world. That's why there's chaos around the world and stuff like that. And with people, there's a lot of people going through a lot of things. It's because we're now in the 5D and there's not the filters. So therefore your belief systems are manifesting super fast. And like you're saying, you're seeing the grays, they're here.
Yeah.
They're here. They're here to support us. They're here to connect with us and talk to you.
Yeah.
I first time I saw one. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, have you had experiences with the short grays, and if you have, where are you going with it?
Yeah. Actually, my first time was in 2012. I was in Italy, and it was, I think, July. It was a couple months after I started receiving sacred activations. and Shaw, which is, anyways, from Arctus, she was in the room with me and she had her thumb on my forehead. I was in a meditation. I said, what are you doing? She says, I'm activating you with the starseed activation. I said, okay. And then right after that, I saw 3 grays standing in the room. And they were like the grays, like they show with the big eyes and, little
exactly.
bodies and everything. Like I'm goosebumped head to toe right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, they're around.
I know they are, and that's exactly what they look like too. Exactly.
Yeah. And I wasn't afraid, and I was surprised I wasn't afraid. I was like, wow. So they're here. I mean, they're here to support us. They're our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And they look all kinds of different ways.
Yeah. And they told us that and actually this was the next night, because I couldn't hang the next night. I was like totally Morgan was scared. In fact, I was like, the reason I didn't know that she was seeing the same thing is because we're going for this walk, and I'm like, Morgan, I'm seeing like they're all in these bushes, like all of them. There's like bunches of them, right? And there's a spaceship over there. She's like, shut up. And she's like, got me by the arms, like squeezing me to death. But she was actually seeing the same thing. She's actually really more sensitive than I am. I'm just coming into it, or really getting to the point where I trust it. She's been doing it for years. But I was going to, so what the following night, she was talking to him. I was crashed already, and they told her, we're here to assist in the physical manifestation of what you need. So that was a really that really resonated. And then the funny thing was, she had a long conversation with him until like 3 or 4 in the morning, and she didn't remember a lot of it. We're talking about, what do we need, whatever. But she said at one point, it would really be nice. Now at this point, we're as we have been, which is like hand to mouth, like we pay a week and get some groceries and broadcast, And so she says it would be really nice if we could have a decent hotel to stay in Honolulu, nothing over the top, just a decent hotel in Honolulu, and a little bit of spending money. Right. And the next day it just blew up. It was like everything blew up. Right. Yeah. And then the other thing I found really interesting, I was talking to this guy, Billy Rude, this young kid from Brooklyn, who has 58 magazine, 50number8.com magazine. Really cool guy. And you know how those young people are. They just got that, They just got it. And so we were talking. We were doing a show yesterday. I didn't know him. And he said, oh, yeah, by the way, I've had 5 what people call abductions by the Zeta Reticuli, which is the short gray. Yeah. So he says, and I said, yeah, and oh my God, you gotta watch this episode. I mean, this guy was like, it's like everything the old timers have been trying to get to, they've already got it. And they're just like, I got it. But anyway, he said what he got from it was that is that they are spiritually very, very advanced.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why their heads are so big and so on, that they don't care about their appearance at all. They're way beyond that. But where they lack, and one of the reasons that they're so intrigued and curious about us is because they've never really expanded that part of them. So they look at our wide range of emotions, and it's very intriguing, blows their mind, and it's intellectually and I think otherwise stimulating to them. So I thought that was a really it resonated with me, that observation.
Well, I think that's why a lot of us want to come to Earth, is to experience these emotions, because our higher self, our expanded self, is aware. We can be anywhere at any time, and we don't have any of those fears or whatever we have here and whatever belief systems we're plugged into. We're calm, we're relaxed, we know everything. and so life's easy. And that's why so many of us come to Earth to have this experience of lack and limitation. I mean, the kids starving wherever, they chose to come into that incarnation and to have that experience. Yeah. And it's like, you talk about starving dogs in different places too. What did they do in their past life where they decided they need to come back and have that experience?
Yeah.
Because we come here and we have these experiences. And what's fun about this is when we decide, okay, we're done with this, we can shift out of that. We can truly have anything we desire. We can have good health. We can have plenty of abundance. It's what makes you happy? What brings you happiness? But again, it's going back into that thought process of what are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? And where's your energy? Where's your emotions? Because with us being in the 5D, the filters aren't there. So we are creating these emotions, thoughts, and feelings right away. So if we're feeling lack and limitation, guess what's going to happen? They want lack and limitation. And then when you focus on abundance, boom, abundance is there. When you focus on health, boom, health is there. So we are creators, and we're constantly creating, and we're creating this earth.
Yeah, true. I agree. I agree.
We are totally creating this earth. And I got a couple weeks ago that because I wanted to jump timelines, okay, I want to do this and this and this and this. And I went and connected with myself in that space. And I said, okay, so I'm ready. What is this like? And she's like, oh, well, look at this and this and this and this. And I went, okay, never mind. I don't want that timeline, right? I don't want to do that. So, and then what I realized from that I was perfectly on the perfect timeline to do exactly what I set out to do when I came here. And then what expanded in my mind from that is the world is on the perfect timeline. You really don't have to save the world. We don't have to get angry about anything. As a matter of fact, any anger, stress, fear, hatred that we send out into the world, we're feeding that energy and it keeps growing and expanding it. Whereas if we're sending everything love, 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 then guess what happens? That expands, right?
Yeah. And, and some of the things that people like yourself, like Morgan, have been talking about for years, okay, are starting to come out. What I'm talking about is the word healing, for one thing. The word forgiveness. There's nothing to heal. There's nothing to forgive. The healing thing. Okay. So technically I've healed myself. I've removed physical, afflictions or whatever. And even internally, I've done that unconsciously for a long time. And I know a lot of people do this. Everything's the same energy. So it's not even about healing. It's about actually like having this cosmic Play-Doh and doing whatever you want with it. I've got this car that was gifted, and it had a problem. So every time I'm driving it, and this problem required that I put fluid in it every couple of days, right? It was a power steering. I know how to look at cars and work on cars. So I look at it and I can see where it's dripping out in two places. I'm thinking, I'm going to have to go get one of these things and get on YouTube and figure out how to replace it. So, but every time I'm driving it, I put my palms on it because that's where I've been told, that my healing power is. And that's where I've always related it to. So I got my palms on it and I'm picturing myself in the way I do myself, which is like a golden Merkaba, a golden light beam.
Yeah.
And I send it through my palms and I create the entire vehicle. Every piece of machinery, every screw, every nut, every bolt becomes this golden, it's part of my field or part of me or whatever. So I did a bunch of driving in the last few days and I keep going to go put the fluid in and it doesn't need any.
It doesn't need it anymore.
And I'm like, exactly. I know. And they're like telling me the you, me, we, it's like, it's working. It's working. But that's not the only case of it. I'm seeing it happen and more and more and more. So I think this what you said about, we said it for a long time. Oh, well, the veils are thinning. Oh, well, the veils are gone or whatever. No, it's done. It's done. We can do this. We can do this. And it's not going to be, it's not an aberration. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine, Gary, about that today. We were in Wales, and we were talking about cars and how they're just energy, and that you can heal your car. He's saying, I've healed my car. It's like, yeah, I've done that too. As a matter of fact, when I came from Mexico to California, I gave my son my car. And when I came back, I had a tire leak or whatever, and I needed new tires. So I put new tires on it for him, because I don't want to give him a car that needs tires, So I put new tires and did brakes and stuff for him. And one of the tires was leaking a couple times after I did that, this brand new tire. And I went, okay, wait a minute, Tamra. Let's just fix this. I don't want to have to go get that tire shifted. I don't have time for this, right? There you go with that time belief, but right. I don't like time with stuff like that. So as soon as I said that and cleared the car, I didn't have to put air in it again, and I didn't have to switch the tire. Yeah. It was completely healed.
It's true though, and we've all dabbled with it. I talk about the first 2 years when I woke up and I was on the streets, and I would eat McDonald's almost every day, and sometimes twice a day, because I could eat for $5. I could get a full meal, and I didn't know anything about the light workers. I didn't know any of this stuff, but I would look at it knowing that it wasn't the best thing for me, but I would focus on it and honor it in my own way. And I'm telling you, in those 2 years, I walked a lot and I danced a lot and all that stuff. But the thing was, my body regenerated, and I'm convinced that was a big part of it. Just that. And you're right. Everything is energy with no exceptions. That gets rid of all the stories. That gets rid of all the labels. It gets rid of all the attachments. Oh, I was Jesus's son in a previous life, and I'm Buddha born again, or whatever it is. It gets rid of all. I would like to make a comment
on that. Yeah.
Go for it.
Exactly. I want to talk about this, because I had seen a lifetime where I was Mary Magdalene, right? Yeah. And it freaked me out. Yeah. Lord Metatron took me in a meditation to that lifetime. And it really, really bugged me, because I didn't feel worthy of doing that or whatever. And I was putting my first book together. I think it was 2014. And I just, it's like, I can't say this. And how do I believe this? And I know all these other women say the same thing. And then I got the understanding and the knowledge of it is, one soul lives it, but many souls have the program. Because when you come here on the planet, you need programs to work on and to work through. So a lot of us will have these past life memories of being Mary Magdalene, Mary, Jesus, or whatever. Doesn't mean we were, but we have the program plugged in so that we can work on those emotions and those belief systems and stuff, because those programs give us the necessary information we need to process and to do whatever we need to do with it. But,
absolutely.
Was I Mary Magdalene? Who cares? Who
That's
cares
right,
if I was the king or queen of England? It doesn't matter. Or who cares if I was a janitor or a hooker or a poor person? None of it matters, because we're all equal. Yeah. Some of us are advancing on this planet faster. Yes, some of us came to this planet to help other people and to guide, people, but that doesn't make anybody better than anybody else.
Righteous. Yeah.
I have no problem. I was just talking to this guy, and he's like, but I'm anyways, I'm just like, I'm not interested in dating you. I just had to make it. And he's all, well, it's because you're this and I'm that. I said, that has nothing to do with it. He's all, I'm from a third world. I said, I don't care. That has nothing to do with it. It's just, I'm intuitive and I know nothing will happen here. Yeah. So it doesn't matter where people are from or how much money they have or don't have. It doesn't make anybody any better than anybody else.
It's very true. I mean, the night I woke up, or the 1:11 in the morning, I don't know if I ever told you this story. It's not a big deal because it's not important. It's, what does Morgan say? It's relevant till it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? So Jesus appeared in the trees, and starts talking to me, and I'm about to go through the universal flip, get your ass kicked, everything blows up thing, literally the night before, right? So then once I came out of that, the first transmission I had, because I was like, these disincarnated souls would come to me, and they were stuck in the astral fourth dimension. And so I'm winging it, and I'm getting some guidance, but I'm like, okay, well, where's Jesus? I mean, if I'm going to do this, I want to go all the way to, I want to find out something cool, and I was like, well, where's Jesus? Boom, he's right there. Anyway, long story short, he shows me this story of him and Magdalene have this kid that survives, that goes into seclusion with these couple of older caretakers, and this whole story automatically writes out of my body, and my stream it 4 days. I write this book, and it's really just memory, right? It's just soul muscle memory. But it was the same thing. It was the same thing. I was like, oh, I took the book off the shelf like in 6 days. I was like, no, I can't do this. But I understood at that point too. I understood that, this has got whatever that is that I received. I can't understand it. But in terms of being literally that, no, I never felt that way. But I love that you say that, because it's a lot for people, and everyone's going to go through it if you haven't gone through it. And if you've gone through it, you might go through it again. But it's a lot to pull in this information, and the way the universe explains it to you, there is some identity involved, and it's a challenge to the ego. So it's a very, very, it's a very impressive to me. I admire anyone that's downloaded the magnitude of what you have, and many other people that can stand there on that balanced ground and say, hey, I'm just like everybody else. Because I was a hooker.
Were you? Good for you.
I was everything. I was everything. Okay.
You talking about this life or another life?
No comment. I have every time I think I've cleared something, from those drug-induced days, that little memory pops in. I'm like, oh shit, shifting is the gift.
Just so you had fun,
Well, I think so a lot of people that know more of my story will say, oh, like especially some of the psychics I ran into early on, they're like, oh my God, you didn't have to do it that hard. But I think what you said about this is why I think I want to ask you something else too about the mission. But I think what you said is true. We came down here in part to experience what we weren't able to in other places, which is this extreme duality with this extreme dominance of the ego and all of its charismatic children, fear, anger, jealousy, all those things. That's actually, and if you think about it, the gold beneath all of the discoveries, once you get past that stuff, is really the highest high of the whole trip here,
Yeah, absolutely. And my oldest son used to be a heroin addict. And he healed from that, thank God. I guess I helped him with sacred activations, I know I did. But anyways, he told me, he says, Mom, don't worry about it. This is part of my thing being here, is having this experience.
Yeah.
It's very, very evolved soul. And I think that's why there's heroin addicts and stuff out there, is because they're so evolved.
Yeah.
When they come here, they try to fit in, they try to ground, they try to be human, and they have such a hard time with it that they start drinking alcohol or doing drugs. I really think because my oldest son is so advanced, and he blows me away with some of the things he comes out of his mouth. I mean, he's been off of heroin now for He got clean early 2013 after I ran addiction redirection with him, and his girlfriend at the time also got clean, which was really amazing.
That is amazing. That's an amazing, and I agree with you. First of all, it takes a tremendous amount of intestinal fortitude to even admit you have a problem with some of these substances.
Yeah.
And it's tricky because I agree with what you're saying about him. I can relate. I can totally relate because I will be very upfront and tell you that a big part of my pineal gland exploding had to do with hallucinogenics. And but there's also the other side of it. There's the shadow side of it. So on one hand, you can be, you can be tripping balls in the best of ways, connecting with, much higher dimensions. But on the other side, there's still that human that came down here to, to find an expanded divinity in a greater true identity of what that is. And of course you got to remove the shadows to do that. So yeah, it's a tricky path, and it's not for everybody. It's certainly nothing I would recommend. I would not recommend my life, my journey to get to where I did to anybody. You don't want to do that.
I understand. Yeah. I had a time where I went through what I would call the dark night of the soul. I was always very intuitive. I was told not to buy a house over and over and over again. I didn't listen because it was a really cool house. I bought the house. It ended up being on an Indian burial ground. And all kinds of crazy things happened there. And the last thing that happened that got me to sell the house was I was doing a seance to clear the house out. I didn't know what in the hell I was doing, right? I set up this glass patio table and I put a tablecloth on it. I don't remember, I think I had 3 or 4 of these candles, the 7-day candles. On the table. They don't get hot. This one's almost gone and it's not hot. And then I had these figurines, these ceramic figurines. I was representing, this was like 2000 or 1999, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it was right when I was waking up, right? So I had these figurines sitting on the table, these male and female for north, south, east, and west. And my friend was there and her daughter was there, and her daughter could see spirits. I couldn't really see them at that time unless I was in a guided meditation. I couldn't just see him like she could. So we're there and we're asking him to leave and all this kind of stuff. And my neighbor that had died like a week before came through and laughed. And then she saw my high school girlfriend showed up. And it's like, oh, that's Sandy, which was cool because I knew she was with me. I could feel her.
Yeah.
So we do this thing. My friends go home. I leave the candles burning. I go upstairs and I go to bed. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I hear this crash. And I thought it was my dogs. I had 2 dogs outside and I was the only one home. And we were drinking, we had a bottle of red wine. I had a horrible headache from it, Well, it was only 1 bottle. But
opens you up.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, it's like a crash. And I hear wake up. And I'm all, no. I hear wake up. No, I'm arguing with spirit. That was typical Tamra. And then I heard, wake up, wake up, wake up now. I went, okay, fine. So I get up. I look downstairs and my living room's on fire. And it's like,
crap.
Holy cow. If I wouldn't have gotten out of bed, I would have died. Sue would have came out up the stairs. That would have been it. So I ran into the kitchen. For some reason, there was a bucket sitting in front of the sink. I filled up the bucket, went and put the fire out, did a couple runs. When I opened it up, every single figurine was beheaded. Some of them were just broken half. And look how far a table is to the ground, a patio table.
Yeah.
And I had really plush carpet because I thought really good padding made things really good. And it was new, and everything was broken. I put the house up for sale. But with that, I got really hooked. And it took me a while to get out of that.
Yeah. You got hooked on what?
There was like a lot of negative energy, like hooks in me. It was just,
I got you. Yeah. We were talking about that. Because I had always seen, even before I woke up, I could see, I didn't know what I was looking at, but I could see and really kind of hear well, I think that book, The Afterlife of Billy Fingers by his sister. I read that right when it came off the streets, and so he left. She's like a doctor, and he started talking to her. But he describes it. He said, if you could see, now this was when I would say this was when the fourth dimensional, nefarious, archonic energies were abundant. Okay, feeding off. Okay, so he said, if you could see the energies around you, we would understand that most of what we do is not on us. Now, this is at a different phase of our evolution. This is when we were susceptible to the emotions and the conflict and all that stuff that, but yeah, but I can remember always, even when I was balling out and I was just flat ass, nuts. All right. On the streets. I mean, I was connected. I could see that light, and I was grasping it. But at the same time, I'd have these, these intense, what people might call dark experiences or whatever. But I realized at some point that I wasn't in control in some moments, that I was, and there was too much influence around me. Like you said, hooks, yeah, hooks. So that was a real deal. And now, do you think, people have talked about and expressed in different ways that, last year and really as we got into this year, that all of that stuff's been wiped out. And it would only make sense to me that all the distortion would be gone in respect to the truth has risen and will not be stopped.
Yeah, I agree. And we are expanding as a planet so fast. And, people talk about the new moon, this is here, this is there, Mercury retrograde, whatever. The planet is not slowing down. And these shifts and these big, huge waves of energy and shifts are going to be continuing over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, whatever you have that is in your way of being totally connected to your higher self and integrated with that will continue to leave. So don't think that you're going to get a break next year. It's going to continue. Now, what I mean by that, if you've cleared so much, then you're just flying high, you're relaxed, you're enjoying your life, you're in love, you're in happiness with life. You know what I mean? But if you're not, all that stuff is just going to keep up leveling and continue. We are not slowing down. Earth is on a major ascension.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely.
And it's not slowing down for anybody. There's people leaving, of course, and the people that are here that are waking up, they're shifting super fast, and don't think that's going to stop. Now, there is like what I call like background actors. They will never wake up. They're not supposed to. They're really just, props in the movie or in the Matrix or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah. And and I think the other thing too, which I've been getting, for me, especially when I would do the radio show and I would just play music and just start doing this preaching, it's my own way of just connecting and channeling or whatever. But I would always, the human's the hero. And I understood that what we're doing on an individual level, not even on a collective level, but on an individual level, our expansion is affecting not just the Earth grid, but the solar system, the universe, all dimensions, all realms. We're not small. And that's another thing about the Zetas that this kid, Billy Rude, was talking about. He was talking about that in the same regard, that as we healed the emotional body, as we brought more balance to it, that we're actually, that's what he was picking up, that we're actually healing them, which is a micro example of what I'm talking about. I wanted to ask you one last thing before, and then you can close out with whatever you want to. Maybe you could do an activation, but whatever you want to do. But one of the things that happened when Morgan and I connected with this circle, with our aspects. And again, as we were doing it, we were actually seeing the same thing. For instance, the first one that stepped up was Merlin. Okay. And, but what they had to say is that the last time we were consciously in the circle was about 60 years ago. I'm 57, right? And I immediately knew that it had something to do with the pre-birth, right? Well, what it was a plan. And they said, every one of us in this circle, including you too, made the decision to attempt this mission. Now, the mission obviously had to do with divine conscious union, with Soulogy, missions within the missions within the missions.
Right.
And where I'm going with this, and what I wanted to get your opinion on, was that there seemed to be a very strategic sense of, I don't want to say urgency, but importance, significance. And as I look at this thing from my highest aspect, everything's perfect. But at the same time, there's this storyline going, and the importance of what we're doing here. The importance of what we're doing here. It's not just like the Far East. I have a trouble sometimes with the Far East philosophies because they're like, oh, it's just life, and nothing means nothing. I'm like, no, you know what? F off. We are something. It does mean something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What's your take on the missions and the importance of our existence here?
Yeah, we absolutely agree to missions and to do certain things and to bring consciousness and whatever we're doing. And like you were describing that circle, that's your soul group. That's from your oversoul. Yeah. And you guys agreed to come where you had to have your experiences and she had to have them first, and then you guys could come together and bring this in. And I mean, the world's not going to end if you don't do it, but it's something you agree to do that's going to help people in their ascension. And you're helping so many healers to have a voice to help other people. So it's such a huge mission what you guys are doing and helping everybody that is ready to wake up and is ready to shift. Yeah, did I answer your question correctly?
Yeah, you did. I think yeah, absolutely. And that was something too that because I noticed some comments that people made having to do with psych wards, having to do with mental institutions, having to do with being labeled mentally afflicted or whatever. I've been there. I know many people that have been there, and I just I just want to say to each and everybody, crazy is not crazy anymore. 5,000, 6,000 years of recorded human history that we can put our finger on, and they still can't get their arms around that subject. Anyone, if you look at the Aboriginal and the primitive cultures, they honored and revered what we would call somebody with a mental affliction, because these people have eyes onto the other side. So respect yourself, honor yourself, don't compare yourself, and don't think you're anything lesser because you're just like everyone else. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I wanted to bring this up earlier, so you bringing this in was perfect. Is people that are considered schizophrenic, their pineal glands are blown open and they need to be adjusted. So there's all these different sound waves and things they're not hearing that they don't need to hear, and that's not serving them. And so they really just need some help with some adjustments.
Yeah.
Again, when you're talking about the mental health and all of that stuff, it is an experience that they, decided to have. It's like when a parent has a retarded child, that child's there to really learn how to really be loved and how to accept love. And the parent's there having that same experience, how to totally love something totally unconditionally that you're not going to get anything back out of. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it is just an experience. And I know, I say it's just an experience, but when you're going through it, trust me, it's very believable and it's very strong and it's very, very real. But when you leave your body or you look at it from a higher aspect, it was truly just an experience that really didn't last that long. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
we call it 100 years, but really we look at it, it was like, well, that was like an hour. What a fun game that was. You know what I mean? And your
Right on.
soul learning. I mean, if you're suffering, your soul's learning.
Yeah,
The collective learning. If you're
yeah.
in happiness and joy, your
We,
soul's learning. The
yeah,
collective is learning,
yeah.
wherever you are. And I know where we're going. I mean, I know we're moving into that love space. And I was very clearly told, because you know how everybody's all, oh, the world's going to end. We're going to screw it up. It's going to be nuclear war, blah, blah, blah. They'll never let that happen. Nuclear war will never happen here. It's not allowed because it'll screw up the universe. So stop that fear. And really what we're going through is the war inside. And if you look at Atlantis and stuff where they blew themselves up, it's because they had all that magic power. They were powerful. They could use those crystals, they could use it, but they were in their egos.
Yeah.
They were not operating through their heart. And where we're going this time is we're learning truly how to love ourselves, which allows us to love others and the world. And
Yeah.
so what I know, we are going into full ascension and world peace. When is that going to happen? I don't know. Archangel Michael told me it would be in my lifetime that I would see world peace.
I totally, that totally resonates with me. I don't resonate with the whole 2020, 2024, 2029. I don't buy all that crap.
No.
We're not linear, and man, look at what's happened since the first of the year. I mean, it's 2 months. I have to look at the whole experience through the eyes of this incredible divine conscious union and Soulogy, because that's my life, right? I mean, that's it. And the level of multiple expansions in the last 60 days, and I'm not discounting anything prior to that, but I'm telling you, the last 60 days has been absolutely phenomenal, to the point where it's a daily thing. And even when we met that council, it wasn't just, hey, your frequency's raised and now you can be conscious in this council. It was a celebration. It was, hey, you did it,
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of you did it's going on in this world right now with people, whether they're conscious of it or not. So, oh my God, I've got chills. So I love this conversation. We're going to have another one soon. I think, aren't we?
I look forward to it.
She's got another one. We should brainstorm a little bit. But we're gonna, I'm really I'm not looking forward to being separated from Morgan, but we're really not separated.
Yeah.
But there's some work that I need to knock out over this next 90 days in the flow that involves a lot of co-creation and collaboration, nothing forced, but I just feel it coming. And I really just want to say I appreciate you and thank you for sitting down with us. And I really enjoyed it. I hope everybody did too. It's our only show today. It's our only show today, so we had to make it good.
Yeah, thank you. I love hanging out and talking to you. You're just so knowledgeable, understanding, with it in line, totally out of ego, which is just so cool and so refreshing. And it's been an absolute joy. Thank you very much. I would like to just invite everybody, if you want to try out what I do, go to my website, sacredactivations.com. I've got an activation called Lord Metatron. I'll activate up to 18 strands of DNA. I have the Flower of Life activation in sacred geometry, which is also the Christ consciousness. That will really open you up to love and expansion. Anger and resentment deactivation. It'll help you clear those emotions out so that you can be peace, love, and joy, and happiness. And then this week, there's a free soulmate activation going out in the email. So we'll make sure and get that sent out a couple times. I'm getting ready to do a relationship class, and then empowered healers. I'm going to be starting in about a month to really help healers get out of their way so they can make money, so they can stand out, so they can be seen and heard and make money while they're doing it. So that's what I got going on. And
what's the URL address for the site? Is it
sacredactivations.com?
Sacredactivations.com. And if you have a newsletter, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could
I have video. I have a video blog. because I'm dyslexic, so I don't sit and write a lot. I shoot videos. It's much easier for me.
I used to write really good. Yeah.
My first book I actually wrote, and I haven't published it yet, but I've got 3 other published books out, and they're all channeled. They're all recorded and then transcribed into words, and people say they can feel the activations and the energy just in the words.
Right on.
So that's cool.
All right. Well, you have a good time or good evening over there. I'm sorry I kept you up so late. You take care.
No, I'm good.
I'll see you later in the month. I think in March or a couple times in March. You take care. And Miguel Dean's in the audience. You guys hook up because
Hi.
you guys
send me a message. Love you. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Super appreciate it. Bye.
You take care, Tamra. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.